21 people upvoted this one comment. So here's the result. Both models got the same 20 files in 1 hour each. One of these I would put on my channel tomorrow. The other one I would not. I graded both cuts out of 25 points. This one got 11. 11 means I run the whole entire job again. And before anyone runs the numbers in the comments, I pay $200 a month flat, same as I have for the last 3 months. Before building this channel, I was the content director at one of the fastest growing channels in the e-commerce space. One we took from 400,000 subscribers to 630,000, working with companies like Shopify and SEMrush, where I managed a team of 7. But none of that helps if you already know which model made which cut. So I graded them both without knowing which one was which.
I would say that cut Y is Opus and cut X is probably Fable. That's just what I think based off of this hook, this intro hook.
I was right. And I want to be honest about why, because it's not the reason you would think. I went through the top 100 comments on that video. Not one of them asked which model I was using. Not one. 7 of them asked what it costs. One person said, and I'm quoting, that this setup easily costs $500 to $1,000 a month if you have to edit every day. The reason I'm running this now is that Opus 5 is the newest model I have access to, and it is half the price per token of Fable 5. So the obvious question is whether the cheap one can do the job. Now, that 200 is flat until you hit its ceiling. A heavier model, it burns your allowance faster, so you do feel that. And I'm not going to pretend that you can run anything you want forever, but I am training this thing on my own footage, and that is the part worth paying for. The ceiling has not been the common problem for me. When you cannot tell two things apart, the price tag is the only thing left to look at. So you go cheap. And that is exactly what is happening with these models right now. Almost nobody can see the difference in the output. So the whole conversation is about what it costs. I wanted to know what you actually get for the extra money. Both models got the same 20 files and the prompt was identical down to the word. 1 hour each, and I did not touch the keyboard on either run. Between the 2 runs, I sealed the first model's entire working folder away so the second one could not see any of it. Because if the model can peek out what the first one built, you're just measuring how well it copies someone else's edit. Both cuts had to come out of the same raw material working alone. One of them finished with 7 minutes left to spare, and it's not the one you would guess. Now, the second model on the exact same footage and what I was watching for was not which one finished first.
Definitely cut Y is a little bit more rough than cut X. That's just what I think based off of this hook, this intro hook.
And at this point, I had no idea what either of these had cost me. I did not look until after I had graded them on purpose. What I finally did look, it changed how I thought about the whole thing. Right, so last video, I set Claude up in Resolve. So I actually tested it. Same footage in 1 hour each, I cut it, Claudia cuts it, and neither of us sees the other's version until the very end. And the rule I gave myself, during Claudia's 1 hour, I cannot touch the timeline, not once. Now the part I didn't plan for when I recorded my footage for this, I forgot to turn my mic on. So the good audio is sitting in a totally separate file, and I never told Claude that. Would it even figure out which audio to use? I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect what came back. Oh shit, that was pretty good. And Claudia actually said this herself. Andy's cut is the better video, mine is the better answer to the brief. Because look, you are the brain, the agents are the hands. Same footage in 1 hour each, I cut it, Claudia cuts it, and neither of us sees the other's version until the very end. That's Claudia, she's the AI that edits my videos, I don't write her lines. And the rule I gave myself, during Claudia's 1 hour, I cannot touch the timeline, not once. I forgot to turn my mic on. So the good audio is sitting in a totally separate file, and I never told Claude that. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect what came back. Claudia obeyed the 60-second rule and made the tighter cut. I blew past it. 2 minutes and 1 second, so I'm quoting her, not me. Andy's cut is the better video, mine is the better answer to the brief. So she beat me on the rules, I beat her on the story. Look, you are the brain, the agents are the hands. That is your edge. Keep it. Using an AI editor, it scales off your own skills, not the AI. If you know how to edit, you have a massive advantage over someone who does not know how to edit, because you know what good looks like from your experience. So if you cannot see that the cheaper model hands you the worst cut, you put out a worse video and you don't even know that you did.
This is almost like double. It's literally double.
20 to 11. 3 places that Opus broke, and you can see all 3 in the finished cut. Her lines, and the rule I gave myself during Claudia's 1 hour. Drop frames and empty frames between clips. Every few seconds, there's a flash of black pulling your viewer out. At 51.8 seconds, it cut away mid-word before the sentence finished. I beat her on the story. Look, you are the brain. Once a viewer loses that thought, they are not coming back for it. And it named a character Claudia with no introduction. She just shows up, your viewer hits that, and they're not watching your edit anymore. They're working out on who this person is to the very end. That's Claudia. She's the AI that edits my videos.
What the hell? What is this shit?
And remember the one that finished early with 7 minutes to spare? This is this one. The one that lost, which left me with a question I did not expect to be asking. If it was faster and I already knew what was cheaper per token, then what exactly did the slower one charge me for? There is one dimension where both of them lost, and it is the one I care about the most.
Like, why do we have a photo of this chat? I guess that kind of works, but it's not a strong B-roll to support the concept or the idea there.
Pretty good. And Claudia actually said this herself. Andy's cut is the better. That's B-roll. Fable got a 3, Opus got a 2, and I want to be honest about Fable because it won overall. It did not win this one, at least not by a large margin. At 47 seconds, it drops in an unzoomed chat screen grab that just sits there. I recorded that footage myself and I barely understood it, so a viewer has no chance. Opus was worse, but neither one reliably picked coverage that carries meaning, and that is still the part that I have to own. The numbers I'm about to put on screen are not what I paid. You already know what I paid. These are just what each run would have cost per token through the API, so you can compare the two models on a level ground. Fable, it came out to $14.63. Opus came in at $8.43. So Fable costs about 74% more. The model that won by 9 quality points is the one that costs more to get there, which answers the question I was sitting on. The cheap one was faster and it was cheaper. It still handed me the cut that I cannot use. Speed and price were never the thing that I was buying. Per quality point, Fable comes out to 73 cents. Opus is 77. The more expensive model, it won on quality and it won on value. But watch what happens when you actually have to run the cheap one twice. $8.43 doubled is $16.86. The expensive cut was $14.63. So the moment you redo it, the cheaper model is the more expensive one, and every dollar you thought you saved is gone. And honestly, the money is the smaller half of this. You just doubled the time you spend on that edit. You watched it, you graded it, you found everything wrong with it. And now you're doing all of that a second time on a second cut. That is your afternoon, not your budget. There's a famous saying, maybe you've heard of it: measure twice, cut once. It pays more to get it right the first time than to redo it. Editing isn't that different. I have said this before. How well you prompt, how well you guide the model matters more than how well the model performs on its own. And I still believe that. But here, both models, they got the exact same prompt, word for word. So the prompting was held still, it cannot explain any of the gap. What was left was the model, and the model was worth 9 points out of 25. Prompting matters most when you can still vary it. Once your prompt is as good as you can make it, the gap that is left is the model. And that is what you're paying for. The model being smart enough to get the quality right in the first place is my number one factor. Cost always comes second. If you've been an editor, you know that you get what you pay for.
So quality first, price second, and the cheap one was the expensive one.
For example, think about two companies hiring an editor. One of them pays $800 a video, the other one pays $100. You already know which edit is usually better, and you knew it before I said it. I have hired at both ends of that range. I had a team of 7, but if you ask how much better, most people couldn't tell me. Nobody really could. The value against cost is almost impossible to judge in the abstract. The only way you find out is to pay both and then put the two edits next to each other. That's all I did here. I just did it with the models instead of people. Now, let me tell you what this test is and what it isn't. I only ran this test once per model on a single set of footage doing a single job. So everything I just told you is true for my footage on this edit. I am not going to tell you that it is true for yours until you have run it for yourself. I also had both models on the same effort setting, the one Claude uses by default. I did not tune one and leave the other one alone. And on that setting, Opus will not let you switch its thinking off. So both of them were thinking the whole way through. Neither one got an advantage there. A 9-point gap is usually wide enough that I am comfortable saying it out loud. If you want to actually check my work, here is the whole thing. This is the prompt. Both models, they got it word for word, and the only thing that changed between the two runs was which model was reading it. They each had 1 hour on the clock, and the delivery spec was fixed at under 60 seconds, 1080p, 2997 frames. Neither one was given a script or an outline or a shot list. There was 20 files of unsorted footage, and figuring out what the story was their job. Arm A, it ran first and got sealed before Arm B existed, so the second model could not see what the first one built. And everything is in the description if you want to run it against your own footage. If you put a human editor and an AI editor side by side, the human typically wins on creativity. That is just the general truth. A person is better looking at a pile of footage and finding the right thing that makes it feel different, makes it feel human. But the AI is better at the execution, making the cuts, arranging them, assembling the thing. It's far more efficient at that than I am, and it doesn't get bored. So why would you not take the best part of the human and the best part of the AI, which is it doing the repetitive work? Now, I'll be honest with you, I would not be comfortable with letting my AI editor make an edit and post it without me reviewing it. I just would not. That's the same way I worked when I was running a channel. The video always had to come through me first, no matter who cut it. Sometimes it was 90% there, and there was still about 10% left, which is fine, and it's just better to have 2 pairs of eyes rather than 1. The point is not that you stop working. The point is that instead of you being the hands and eyes, you get to be the eyes and the brains. What this really is, it's more like a junior editor. This is the thing that finally exists now. Somebody who will do the monotonous, tedious assembly for you at $200 for the whole month. If you edit for other people for a living, I genuinely cannot figure out why you would not want to do this. So is it worth it? Well, for me, what I get back, that is not a close call for me. Every time this comes up, someone says, just get an editor, and I get it. This is the obvious answer if you have never tried to build something that compounds. I have been editing for 8 years, 4 of them professionally, getting paid for it. I know what a good edit looks like because I've made thousands of them. So if I can train my AI over time to cut exactly the way that I want it, why would I go hire an editor? An editor gets more expensive over time, they get better, and eventually they leave. And everything that they learn goes with them. The pacing, the style, it goes out the door. But the system does not leave. And I want to be clear about the worst case here, because I do not think I said this well before. Worst case is that I never bring anybody in at all. If I stop training it, it stops getting better, but it holds the level that it's already at, and that level is the one that I'm comfortable with. That's the floor, and the floor is fine. Now, what actually happens is that I keep improving it, and the reason is not discipline. Ideas just keep popping up because I'm not busy executing anymore. And if I ever do bring somebody in, they inherit the whole thing. Honestly, here is the simplest way I can put it. I like editing. I do not like cutting. I like creating a narrative. I don't like shifting and cutting clips around. If you have not built your own editor yet, I have a video that walks through the whole setup from the beginning. You can start there.